Welcome, it's a great day to be a miner. In today's video, we're gonna build out a brand new test bench from the ground up. This is gonna give us the opportunity to do more accurate, isolated testing for mining. So without further ado, spin that intro. Welcome. Today we got an exciting video. We are going to build a brand new test bench. We've got all of our hardware right here. We've been waiting for some of these parts to come in. We finally got them. So first we're going to start off with our test bench frame. Got this from Amazon. It was only about 80 bucks. I'll make sure to put links to all of this down in the description. This thing, however, took me almost 3 hours to assemble. It is quite nice. You can use different size motherboards on it. It does accommodate a water reservoir. You can hook on an AIO. You can hook on extra fans. Has nice GPU support bracket. Has a built-in power button. It is a pretty nice frame, really solid, really painful to put together. So then for our motherboard, we got the Asus Prime H570 Plus, which is a decent little motherboard. We got it on sale for only $140 off of Newegg. Inside it, we are going to run an Intel 10400, which is a nice little mid-range CPU. To keep that CPU cool, we're going to run a 240 EVGA AIO. Then we have, of course, 16 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance Pro. I believe it's 32 megahertz memory, which is plenty for our application. To power the system, a 650 EVGA Gold. And then for storage, we're going to use a 256 gigabyte SSD M.2, and then also a 128 gigabyte SSD for additional storage and to rotate in operating systems as needed for testing. And of course, we're gonna put a couple RGB fans on there because everybody knows that RGB adds hash rate. So without further ado, let's get this thing built. This thing needed built like a week ago because we got graphics cards sitting around. So let's tear into it. So let's go ahead and start building out our test bench. We got our frame here, we got ourselves our motherboard. We're gonna go ahead and slot in our CPU, our RAM, and our M.2 SSD into the motherboard. Normally on a PC build, I'd go ahead and hook it up to a power supply and test it while on the box. But since this isn't inside of a PC tower and you can easily get to everything, I'll go ahead and just build it right on the frame, and fingers crossed everything goes okay. So then we'll go ahead and hook the SSD to the back of this thing. It has a really painful mounting mechanism with these little nuts and screws, and of course these awesome little metal L brackets. So that should be fun, but let's go ahead and dive into it. I just want to quickly touch on how hard this AIO was to mount into this frame. And the reason it was so difficult was because of the screws that come with the AIO are not made to go through this really thick piece of plexiglass here, and nor were the screws that came with the frame the right type of thread. Let's see if I can get a good focus on that. Let's try it again. Let's see if I can focus in on this guy. Here is the screw that came with the frame itself, the test bench itself. And it's a really fine thread and won't thread into the rad. The ones that came with the cooler are really short. They're not made to go through that thick plexiglass. And so these were the ones I ended up matching up through Ace Hardware. I didn't like that it was a little hex head pattern, and they were really hard to get to, but they did the job. So I matched up the thread, went to Ace Hardware, got the right length, and then I got them mounted in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I got my rad put on there, and now I've got my block, my rad. This runs back and splits into dual fans for the 2 fans on the outside. And then there is one additional cable that will run right up under here and run down into our USB. Go ahead and plug in the USB. I think it goes right there. And then it will plug up underneath of here. Except it goes the other way, of course. Right like that. And so that's what powers it and brings on the LEDs on it. And then I just got to re-cable manage all that. And I did mount my SSD, was a pain right here. The design called for it to mount into here on this bar, but once you already have it all put together, it's so hard to get anything to slide onto those rails. So I improvised. I popped the end cap off and I mounted it right there, slid it in. And this is an additional drop because I'm using the M.2 as my primary. So let's finish the build. finally, we got this thing up and running. We did run into a couple pitfalls, mainly with the frame construction. I had problem mounting the SSD, but I actually made a makeshift and got it on the back corner where it's very convenient so that I can unplug it or plug it in as necessary. I also have it set up so the M.2 drive is running the Nvidia drivers, and then the SSD on the back is running the AMD drivers. And then if I want to quickly go into Hive, obviously I would just plug in my thumb drive. So that way I can quickly move back and forth when I switch out different graphics cards and different configurations. Once I get it all set up and installed and a little bit of cable management on the back to clean it up, then I installed Windows, which there's plenty of videos out there on how to install Windows. Basically, you download the ISO, you put it on a thumb drive, you plug it in, you run through all the prompts, then you get into Windows and you want to slim it down, you want to turn off certain features and whatnot to try to make the system run a little bit better. And then in Windows, I've downloaded some necessary utilities like hardware info, GPU-Z, CPU-Z, MSI Afterburner, and then maybe a few other small utilities. And then I had to download a bunch of mining software such as Phoenix Miner, Team Red Miner, Trex Miner. I downloaded nicehash. Even though people do not like nicehash as much, it is very widespread and very well used and received across the community, especially for very light hobbyist slash gaming miners. So we're definitely going to use it for some testing as well, because it's good to have those numbers and it's good to be able to use the multi-algorithm switching without having to actually fire up different miners. So we're going to use it for some base testing as well. And then a couple other items on this rig. It has to run on Wi-Fi, and that's because of my configuration. So I just have a little USB Wi-Fi adapter right here, and that's just because of where I'm going to be using it at currently, and also so that I can move it around when needed. So then I also had to put a remote tool on here. I used Chrome Remote Desktop. That way I can easily go from my other Windows systems into this, and then that way I can control it remotely while I use OBS and record for you. So I think that includes the whole build. It is very nice. It's operational. It's functional. The AIO, these hoses may get in the way of my GPUs. We'll have to figure that out. But if I would have put it at the top, then my hose outlets would be above my inlets, and then that makes your pump work harder, and that makes you get air bubbles in the top, and that's not an ideal setup for a radiator. So we did go with the proper mount with it upside down so that the air comes to the top, the water flows cleanly. So there it is. We got the test bench all ready to go, and now we got a handful of GPUs. Let's pop into that outro. Well, there you have it. We have a brand new test bench up and running. We have it set up so that we can run either AMD or Nvidia quickly, as well as pop over into Hive with just a thumb drive. Next, we have a handful of GPUs that we need to slap into this thing and get fully tested so that we can share with you the nerdy numbers. If you're new to mining or you need a little assistance, make sure to join the Misfit Mining Discord or the Hashrate Discord. There's always plenty of seasoned veterans in there willing to help you out. If you like this video, you know what to do. Smash that like button and subscribe for future content. Thanks for coming along and enjoy the ride. Pew!